Welcome back. Today we are crossing a huge threshold in this explainer. We're shifting away from designing and building GXP systems and jumping straight into the reality of day two. Because look, maintaining a validated state in your systems is a daily discipline, right? It's not just a one-time event. The moment a system goes live, the environment around it just keeps moving. So today, we're going to break down the exact operational frameworks you need to keep your systems absolutely locked in a state of compliance and control.
Okay, let's dive right into this roadmap. First up, we've got the Validation Guardian. Then we'll get into assessing change impact, walk through the formal change control workflow, tackle patches and infrastructure, and wrap things up with the periodic review.
Section 1. The Validation Guardian.
Now, I want to start by throwing a question your way, and I want you to really think about your own day-to-day operations. What do you think is the absolute #1 cause of validation drift? Like, what breaks a system's validated state more than anything else? Take a second. Got a guess?
Well, it's uncontrolled emergency changes. This is literally the most common failure mode we see out there. You know the drill. An urgent issue pops up, and a quick fix is slammed in just to keep operations moving. It completely bypasses formal change control, happens with zero upfront documentation, and the paperwork? Yeah, that's only magically recovered retrospectively after the fact. And just like that, boom, your system has drifted right out of its validated state.
And this brings us to a classic operational friction point, the ultimate tug-of-war between IT urgency and CSV discipline. If you're in IT or quality assurance, you know exactly what I'm talking about. IT urgency pushes for these blazing fast, undocumented quick fixes to solve a problem right this second. But CSV discipline, that demands a controlled, risk-based assessment before any action is actually taken. We have to be absolutely clear on this. A security urgency does not override compliance. Every single change requires controlled assessment, because without validation, every batch you produce is basically just an experiment.
Which leads us to Section 2, Assessing Change Impact.
Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is that not all changes are created equal. Let's look at the actual operational reality of risk classification. An administrative change might need zero testing. A like-for-like change, say you're just swapping out a failed server component with an absolutely identical part, that demands a much lighter validation effort. You really just need documented verification that it truly is identical. But a significant change, like altering workflow rules or pushing major software upgrades, that absolutely dictates deep, targeted regression testing. Your risk classification literally dictates your testing and validation requirements.
And that brings us to a core GAMP 5 mantra. Revalidation scope must be proportionate to change risk. Listen, you do not need to revalidate the entire system every single time you make a minor tweak, but you absolutely must align your testing effort, your documentation, and your approval levels with the specific risk that change poses to data integrity and ultimately patient safety.
Moving on to Section 3, the Change Control Workflow.
Let's move to the Operational Guardian itself and see how this builds up. This is the formal 6-step change control workflow. First, the request, documenting the proposed change with a clear rationale. Second, risk assessment, figuring out the impact on validation and data integrity. Third is approval, signed off by qualified roles based on that risk. Fourth, implementation, the actual controlled execution. Fifth, verification, doing the appropriate testing. And finally, closure, confirming and documenting that it was actually effective. But here's the kicker. I really want to emphasize the #1 here, because if you skip just one single step in that workflow, the entire process is completely invalid. Implementing a change before getting approval? Invalid. Skipping verification because you're under intense timeline pressure? Invalid. Documenting the rationale after the fact? Remember the golden rule. If it isn't documented, it didn't happen. One single missed step completely shatters the validated state of your system.
All right, Section 4, Patches and Infrastructure.
Because look, version management is continuous. It never stops. Whether a vendor is supplying an update or it's a massive version upgrade, it has to flow systematically. You always start by assessing the vendor release notes to understand the impact. Then you move that patch into a staging or test environment for pre-production validation. Next is your risk-based regression testing to make sure nothing broke. Only after all of that do you move to a production release. You simply cannot push updates recklessly into production.
Let's dig into the gritty reality of this. You've got to proactively assess all those vendor-supplied patches, and you have to separate genuine hair-on-fire security urgencies from just routine functional updates. You also need to maintain your infrastructure, the hardware, the networks, and continuously renew those qualifications as things shift. And honestly, never forget that even seemingly tiny configuration adjustments, like tweaking a validation rule, are considered GXP changes. Upgrades are very often full-blown validation projects in their own right.
And finally, Section 5, the periodic review.
Now, thinking about the holistic scope of a periodic review really illustrates how all the moving parts come together. It's not just a single metric. You are checking the validation status for any drift, you're analyzing the aggregate impact of the whole change history, you're summarizing deviations and incidents, and you're evaluating actual operational performance and error rates. It's the whole shebang, a complete 360-degree look at the system.
Think of it as your system's annual health check to confirm it's still genuinely fit for purpose. For high-rise systems, this is typically an annual regulatory requirement. But I want to issue a massive warning here against what we call periodic review theater. Where a template is just mechanically filled out, boxes are blindly ticked, but the actual content is totally shallow. A true periodic review has to be a critical, cross-functional evaluation, not just ceremonial paperwork.
So, I'm going to leave you with a provocative question to take back to your teams. Look closely at your own operational discipline. When you evaluate your systems, are they genuinely still fit for purpose, or are you just checking a box to satisfy an auditor? Remember, change control and system maintenance are a daily standard, not just an occasional check-in. Keep that discipline strong, and thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.